Hi folks, thanks for watching. Wheeljack here is a great example of a line I did not want to collect at first, but have become more intent on customizing movie bots to better represent G1 characters. I'm working on a blue streak and a Trax right now, for example, but this Wheeljack kind of did the work for me. He is G1 movie representation all the way. Now, he is an exclusive. He is from an Aeon exclusive line in Japan, which is, I believe, some sort of mall in Japan. And he won't be readily available. Now, he is the same mold as the Q mold from Dark of the Moon. He has a new head sculpt and new paint apps to make him more G1-ish. He's a great looking bot as far as I'm concerned. And like I said, he saves me a lot of work. Now, let's go through some of the robot stuff. He does have wicked articulation. He has a hinge there and a ball joint, so he can move his head pretty much anywhere you need him to move it. He does have good shoulders and 360s on the ball joints. He does have bicep swivel. Tight, however it might be, he does. And he does have double hinged elbows. So he can do a lot of things. But as you can see as I'm doing that, there's collision issues. And that goes through the rest of the bot. Now he does have waist articulation again. Moving pieces might help you move that around. He also has a good in and out, but as you can see, more collision issues. That's all on a ball joint. And then the knee, probably the worst of the bunch. You have to move things around if you want to move that knee. And even at its best, you're getting 20 degrees at best. You do have ankle tilt or hinge, if you will. But again, the collision of other parts prevents it from doing all it needs to do. He's still a really good looking bot. And really what I want when I'm collecting something movie. Obviously a lot of fans want to avoid movie, and I don't blame them. But when you can get a representation like this, I think it's worth it. I'm going to go into a few details. He does have pegs in his hand. He can hold all kinds of things. And just to show you, I'm going to have him hold Sentinel Prime Shield, which is kind of ridiculous, but it's just going to show how tight the hinges are and the ball joints. I mean, it covers them right up. But he has no problem holding these things. They all fit into his hands really well. So if you have any weapons, you can easily put those in there. I'll show you some of the packaging as well. You're going to notice that this is in Japanese from what I believe. And the main difference from other Japanese is that EX you see on these instructions. I'll show you the packaging right now. That EX would usually be AD with a number following, just to kind of note what part of the line it would usually be. This is obviously an exclusive, so you're not seeing an 80 number. I waited for this figure. I was hoping that it would be an 80-19 or 80-30, but I wasn't going to take the risk that it was going to be, so I decided to grab this exclusive. You can see some nice artwork on the front. His head looks very much like the Matrix, which is kind of fun. Let's take a look at the back. Product shots, basically. And if you like your bios, there you have a bio. So it's basically just saying he's smart and he helps. Of course he does. Now let's look back at Wheeljack here. Let me bring the camera down a bit. There he is. Now, I love his new deco. I'm gushing a little bit. I apologize, but he does look great to me. I was going to cave into Q, but he cost a lot of money for a guy who had pretty nasty head sculpt, in my opinion. A pretty, well, it was movie-ish, but I didn't enjoy that representation. This is what Michael Bay should be doing if he wasn't trying to annoy us whenever he could. So let's get to some comparisons. He does scale fantastically with other movie bots. Here he is with a Voyager Prime. On a side note, if you can tell me what is different about this Prime, because I haven't done the work I want to do. There's some painting I want to do, but I have done one little thing, and the first 3 people who tell me what I did will get a subscribe from me. But you can see there's a little difference there, but he scales beautifully with him. Now let's take Prime out. Let's get him with another Deluxe. I've got a Deluxe Beast Wars. Deluxe Beast Wars Dinobot here. Now, this Dinobot is customized. It actually took 2 bots and a little more than 2 hours, if you will. But again, I tried to make my customs look like something that Hasbro should have put out, should have released. I don't know why they don't do little things like this. It doesn't take a lot to make a bot look a little more show accurate. And they obviously don't bother. But that was back in the 90s. So let's move on from that. And last, just as a scaler, here he is with the GDO Blue Streak, who I think is one of my favorite little GDOs that you can get. So that's a little comparison there. Now, not to be long-winded, let's get to transformation. Now, transforming him, you want to get rid of the head first. Just bring down the chest. Tuck the head back. And you want to bring the arms up. Now, when you bring the arms up, you want to do the bicep swivel and fold them in. So we got that out of the way. These are going to fold up, but you just want to give yourself enough clearance when you're bringing them up, because you don't need to tab them yet. And I'm just bringing down the fender as I'm doing this. Just enough clearance to bring down these door panels, because those will be collision issues if you do not bring them in during this transformation. Now that I've got those arms together, I'm going to bring them up, and these tabs will probably pop in the process, but I like to bring them together just so that I have things lined up. You'll also notice some minor tabs in the arms there, and again, it's just to give myself a working point. You don't necessarily have a large chance of those staying together when you bring the hood up, but that's what we're going to do now. Now the hood's going to tab into 2 little tabs there and into those grooves here. But again, lining them up I find makes life a little easier. I find he could be more finicky than you'd normally think if you don't prepare the transformation. And again, I don't know, I hate to be too technical, but it does help. Now we've got the lower body. Now the lower body should still have clearance to swivel. These panels will tab in there, but before that I like to make the legs ready. First thing is move the windshields down, and you'll see these shin pieces slide in as you move the feet up. And I like to just situate them in a general area of where they're going to be. And if not, why not tab them together right now? The bumper can be a little bit of work because you got to do a slide and a tab, but it affords you a better panel line when you are complete. Now I like to peg these panels, and again, a lot of these panels will move and shake as you're doing your transformation, but I find it worthwhile to have them ready as you do it. The whole top section is going to kind of fold over the top, and before I put it in place I like to line up the hood section and the windshield. This will all come down and peg, and you guys will see an Autobot squish is what I call it today. This is the kind of vehicle that needs an Autobot squish, and you all know what I'm talking about. It's an Autobot squish. You squish it together, and that just kind of situates everything where you need to be. And it ain't perfect, I'll admit. This is only my second review, so I should probably practice my transformations a little more. But I am doing my best, and you end up having a guy that looks like that. And to me, that is a great looking Wheeljack. Painted rims, G1 deco. He needs a serious Autobot squish, unfortunately, just to get him lined up. But I love the deco. Now let's compare him to some of the other bots that I have laying around. Let's start with a smaller, more common bot. Here's a Swerve that you may be seeing in stores right now. That's what he looks like compared to Swerve. Let's get him with another Deluxe. Here he is with Sunstreaker. He could use an Autobot squish as well. And let's get him with a Voyager. I've got a Bulkhead here. He actually scales fairly well with Bulkhead. And honestly, now that I'm looking at him, he looks a little bit like the size of Transformers Prime Wheeljack, funny enough. So that's how they look together. Now, a big part of me reviewing this guy was because, like I said, you know, I just kind of want to point out that collectors kind of do different things. You know, I usually don't spend too much money on my bots, and I spent a little more just to get a bot that looks like a Wheeljack to me, instead of a Q/Wheeljack from a line that was discontinued and costed $90. So just please subscribe, like. I hope you enjoy these videos. Please comment. I think that's the most important part. I like to hear if people hate this, if I should even be doing these videos. So thanks again for watching, and hopefully I hear